Politics and young black people seem to go in the opposite direction. 1.2 million eligible black voters didn't vote at the last general election. But what changes could Parliament make to ensure black students are voting and engaging in democratic processes? Professor Bartle of Essex Uni believes there's one way to increase overall turnout and ensure every group in society has expressed who they support.
I think there should be compulsory voting. I think people should have an obligation in a democratic society once every 4 or 5 years to record their preferences and have their vote counted. People can be at liberty not to vote. They can vote for none of the above. But I think it's a very, very strong case for engaging people by getting into the habit of voting. All the evidence suggests that once you voted, you're more likely to vote again in the future. And it's about developing the habits of citizenship that we need to do going forward.
Compulsory voting would increase turnout and improve representation of all groups in society. However, it's not on the cards for the Tories or Labour. Bell Ribeiro Addy, the MP for Streatham, says it's time for a more proportional voting system, but wants to still remind Black Britons about the power in mass voting for the upcoming general election.
The reality is, if people voted and they voted en masse, politicians would have to start paying attention to them, because they literally decide whether or not they have jobs and whether or not they're in power. And I think that's extremely important. The governments know who votes and who doesn't, and they tend to play towards them. And we have to remember that whilst people say that voting doesn't change anything or movements don't change anything, even sometimes they say that, I always like to tell people that in this country there was a time that someone that looked like me could be owned as a slave. And there was a time where women couldn't vote, and that wasn't that long ago. So, and now I'm here, I'm a Black woman politician. So things do change, and it takes political power to change that.
Newly elected councillor Elizabeth Akinyeme wants to encourage young black people that their power comes from their ability to vote.
Their talents are needed, their skills are needed, their voice counts, their votes is their power, and they should come up and use that, get out and be counted.
The next general election is likely to happen later this year. Hannah Reid, BBC Look East.